Okay, so I was about to record a video for our marketing manager, and I thought, let me just do it live because it'll be good. We have more content. I have a chance to remind you guys about the book and about to go to positiontowinbook.com. Yes, positiontowinbook.com, and then you can get notified about the official release. But so I was planning. This is the strategy, what I'm calling the strategy to action for marketing on the event that we have coming up in October, and then of course for the book, and then for anything else that we have going on. And so I figured I'd just record it live, and that way she could see it and benefit from it, but then also we have some more content. So anyway, so thinking about strategy to action, and why am I calling it strategy to action? So here's the lesson, or at least one of the lessons. So the first lesson is that we need to have a big picture idea, okay? We call this, I'll just do it in red, we call this, somebody already asked me if I had other colors, I do. I'll use them later. Strategy. So we call that strategy, okay? The big picture, but then we need these specifics here. Okay, because the specifics tell us what to do. Okay, so this is where most people get lost, and this is the reason why strategy is so difficult. Because you need to have a map of where to go, but you also need to know what to do right now. And these are polar opposites. Okay, so we have a big picture and we have the little thing. So you got to be able to go up and down this thing, and it's very difficult. For most people, it's very difficult to do. So most people are really good at the specifics of it, or they're really good at the big picture, right? And so they got to be able to work together. So we had a nice call, and we're working all these details. So this is what we need to be able to do. Okay? So that's why I'm calling it the strategy to action. Okay? So here's what we have. What we have is we have several types of content to promote. Again, to promote the book and to promote the event in October 20th, okay? So we have content on Facebook, we have content on LinkedIn, we have content on Twitter, right? And then we have content both from John and from me, either separate like this or together, right? Like the podcast, we have podcasts, right? We do those together. We have posts, and we have a post that we're both there, or maybe he has a post that he did on Twitter, right? Or tweets or videos. Basically, that's what we have, right? So how do we organize this to action? Okay, so here's what I was thinking about. So here's the stuff that we have. Basically, we get two ways of the content. We either have content raw, in other words, we record something, but it needs to be edited. It's raw, right? Like for example, podcasts are that way. We got to add music at the beginning. We got to add music at the end. All of that. Or we have content that's already posted. So maybe we have a tweet. John reads the Wall Street Journal every morning, right? So just to give you guys a heads up. So John, man, he's better at this than me. So he wakes up at 4 in the morning, right? And he does his thing. He studies. He does all this stuff. So by the time 6 a.m. wraps around, and most people are kind of like barely getting out of bed, he's already read the Wall Street Journal. He's already got a handle on what things are going on. And since he lives in the West Coast, then it's much later in the East Coast. So the market's open, and he's all up and ready to go. So, that's pretty cool. So if he has a tweet, if he has a thought, he has something that he wants to push forward, then he can create it, and it's there, right? And then I also thought that we have stuff that is sent. Stuff that we do at other places, or if John has a speaking engagement, or if I have a speaking engagement, then they'll record something, either audio or video, or maybe they even take pictures. That's something I forgot. Pictures. And then they'll send it to us. So basically we have these three ways, right? So how do we organize this so that we can publicize it, we can promote it, okay? And so we thought about these two things first, and we thought about a calendar, but no, the right way is a list. First, we're gonna do a list. So we do a list, let's say a list of what we already have. Already have. And then a list of what we create, right? And so we have those two lists, or I'm just thinking about doing a concurrent list like that, and then that gets placed in a calendar, okay? And in the calendar, so this is the calendar, then the marketing manager, she can see this, the list of stuff that we have and stuff that's created, and then start placing those items in the calendar and different dates and times. So that's how we're gonna do it, okay? Now, the other lesson here is that this is the time that you wanna spend on this, okay? Because what we're doing is we're creating a marketing workflow. Okay? So from the big picture to the specifics. The big picture meaning you want to promote the book. So we have a concept here in the book that we call layer cake, and John came up with that many years ago, and from his consulting, and that is on page. Here we go. It is right here. So it is on page 189 in this version of the book. It's in a different version, in a different page now, in this next version that we're coming up with. It's called the layer cake, okay? And the layer cake is the different layers of strategy down to action, okay? We of course, in the program, in the system, we go into depth of what the layer cake is. But basically, we have goals, which are to promote the book, to promote the event, to promote all of that. And then we have strategy, tactics, techniques, and tools, okay? Keep dropping this. Okay, so if we have that, what we're gonna be able to do is we have to be able to show where we're gonna go from one thing to the next. Okay, and all the steps that we're gonna have to do, okay? So I'm thinking, here's what I'm thinking. So, like I said, we have the list. Just use red. The list to calendar to post, okay? And that's all fine and dandy, but there are zoomed out things that need to happen here, for example, right? So for example, we need zoomed in things, rather. We gotta be able to check certain things, okay? So here's what I'm thinking about. Copy. We gotta make sure that the copy that we write, that the things that we write are spelled correctly, right? If we're gonna be promoting a lot. If you make a mistake, it grows exponentially, okay? We're gonna be able to, we have to check the links, make sure they work. All right, do the links work? Okay? Anything else weird? All right, and this is like anything. Like if you look at the picture, is there, if there's somebody took a picture, right, and there's something weird in the background, right? Like somebody's bent over and looks weird and just funny, and like it would take all the credibility away from the picture. Like that can happen. You're so focused on the centerpiece of the picture because you know what the picture says or does, but somebody didn't take a look at anything else weird, right? So we got to be able to put that in. So the lesson is that this is the time to systematize this, okay? Now we hired a smart, capable marketing manager, and I can just say, hey, Sandra, go do this and figure it out. And she can figure this out. But if we hope to really get a handle on it, what if we wanted to hire somebody underneath her that she could manage? If we don't have this, and it's all gonna be in our head or in my head or wherever that might be, it'll quickly get disorganized, quickly become just a big mess, and then we have to clean it up. So this is the time to spend the time, right? Because then it's gonna take a little more work to get it off the ground for sure. But if you go through the process of thinking about the big picture, thinking about the strategy, And what is the strategy, right? Or what is the goal to promote this? What is the strategy? The strategy would be something like use social media and email to promote Position to Win book, the Shrink Your Reality event, and ongoing client engagements. That's what we want, okay? So that's the strategy. What are the tactics? The tactics are, well, I'm going up and down the layer thing. The tactics are to use Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and start posting all this stuff, okay? What are the techniques? The techniques are, this is what we're doing, okay? So we're gonna create a list. We're going to put it on a calendar. We're gonna create the post, right? And then inside of this, then you create this. This is the logistics of it, okay? Now logistics are something that runs concurrently through everything. There's a logistical nature to, really there's a logistical nature even to strategy, because somebody actually has to do it. But really for me, logistics really start at the layer of tactics. Maybe I need to talk this over with John, see what he thinks. But that's what we have. And then we got the tools, right? The tools are the different ways in which we're posting this. So I hope this is helpful. I hope we got some insights on using strategy, the big picture, and to do action. So think about it. This is like a map, okay? And so a map is helpful if it's at the right level of resolution outward, right? But if it's too far out, then you don't see anything. So if you ever played around with Google Earth and you put point A and point B, and if you zoom out the planet Earth, like literally, right? Eventually, point A and point B would be on top of each other, right? And so that's not useful. It's too far, way too big picture, right? But if you go and zoom in too much, and now you don't see point A and point B, well, you can't. That's not useful, right? A life-size map of the United States is not a useful map, right? It'd be covering it all, be this big sheet of paper covering everything, right? That's not helpful. So it's got to be at the right level, right? So you got to be able to go up and down and see and be able to look at it and go, okay, now let me zoom in and let me take this piece, let me take that piece. So now that we have a basic flow, and again, I just came up with it, when we had some conversations, so, she helped me a lot. Then now we have something to go and test, which is the next stage. Okay, because this process is iterative, right? We don't know if this is gonna work. We don't know. But the way that we do it is through testing. So I hope this has been helpful for you, but also for everybody else out there. And go to positiontowinbook.com to get notified. Also go to positiontowinbook.com/event and find out about our event and see how that goes. All right. See you guys in the next one.